Hello and welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen and today it's time to remake shaving pucks. And I have several previous videos, but I figured I'd bring you along while I make a new batch of shaving soap. I'm sold out. I was remiss in making it on the curing rack, so I'm a little behind the curve. That's okay, we're gonna make it today. For the fragrance today, I'm going to use Indonesian teak wood, and this is from Be Scented, and this smells really, really nice. It is masculine, but I love it. It's a very earthy, woodsy scent. I'll read you the scent description here. Got my computer. It says an intriguing blend of falling leaves, fresh citrus, fireside warmth, Indonesian teakwood, patchouli, and amber. Well, I just think it smells fantastic. So that is the fragrance today. So a couple of things I do different in my shaving soaps is instead of kaolin clay that I normally put in my soaps because I love it, I use bentonite clay, and I buy it in bulk. But bentonite clay is wonderful in a shaving soap. It gives a real slip to the lather so that the razor glides very nicely. So bentonite clay is going in there. And also, I don't use sweet almond oil, I use Hempseed oil. And I get this from Soaper's Choice, which they are a wonderful company, good prices, even with the freight shipping, which is but it's still a good price. And this is so wonderful. It's really, really good for your skin. Hemp oil, this is an organic, unrefined. It is just nutrient dense and it is wonderful skin benefits. So, you know, shaving is a very aggressive thing on your skin, so I like to put in soothing ingredients in there, and the hempseed oil is definitely one of those. I will use aloe vera juice for the liquid portion, again, skin soothing. I do put colloidal oats in there, and the bentonite clay. What else? That's pretty much, you know, what we've got going on. Okay, and I've showed this in previous videos and I will show it again. I got the idea for my shaving puck soap mold here, which is this big, ginormous PVC pipe with a flange on the bottom for a stability footer. And I made a little apparatus to go on the top. And I line it with, oh, it's really heavy. Sorry, the camera's all wiggly. This thing is heavy. Polytube lining. So let me tell you about the polytube lining. Actually, let me back up. Let me tell you, I got this idea for this soap mold from Amy Warden. Her blog had a PVC soap mold tutorial, and she got it from Denise Casperson, a Canadian soaper. This was her brainchild, and it's just fabulous. And one of the unique things is she used polytube lining to line the soap mold for super easy, no stick unmold. It's just a breeze to unmold. You want to know the circumference of whatever PVC pipe you're using so that when you open up your tube lining, it's the right size. So if I'm using a 3-inch PVC and I get 3-inch polytube lining, it's only going to be 3 inches wide, which will be an inch and a half when you open it up. So this you can use, I'm using a 3-inch PVC, and you can use 4.5 to 5-inch polytube lining so that the circumference when it opens will fit the tube, if that makes sense. Anyway, so polytube lining makes unmolding a breeze. I'll show you how I set it up when we get there, when it's time for all of that. I have this massive funnel that I got at Harbor Freight, I think, or Lowe's. You can get these anywhere. It's in the like car oil changing department. I just needed a big funnel to go in the top to pour my soap in, because, you know, I think pouring in here is kind of, that's a narrow opening. For me, I wanted a big opening. So I use my gigantic funnel to pour down into the mold, and I think that's it. I'm gonna get everything pulled together, get my hair pulled back. I'll bring you back when I set up my PVC pipe thing, and I'll show you how I do the liner and all of that. And I will leave a link for Amy Warden's blog post with the original designer for this pipe mold thing, and all the information. I'll leave a link for it down below. So let me get everything pulled together and let's come back and make some wonderful, gentle, skin nourishing shaving pucks. All right, I get asked a lot about adding silk fibers to my lye solution, so I figured I'd show you what I've got going on today. Even though this is a shaving soap, which is, you know, normally used by guys, this adds such a wonderful silky feel to the lather that it's just wonderful. So this, along with the bentonite clay, makes a beautiful lather for shaving. So let me tell you what's going on right now in this pot is I have a 50-50 split of aloe vera juice and distilled water, and it's cold. I keep them in the refrigerator, and 2 tablespoons of cane sugar, and I'm just dissolving the cane sugar. So that's all that's going on in here is basically a sugar aloe water solution. And now, see, the silk comes in these ropes, and this is unprocessed, kind of raw. It's got a very natural beige color. It's not bleached. Unbleached is what I'm trying to say. So I just snip off, and I can't measure. I can't tell you how much this weighs because it weighs nothing, but you know, it's like a cotton ball size for a full-size batch of soap that I make. And again, you can use less, you can use more. It's not a big deal. So I take this, and you don't have to snip it up, but it just melts a lot quicker. So I go ahead and just snip it into teeny little snippets here and let it float on top. And now I'm going to get my sodium hydroxide. Let me grab my gloves before I get my lye over here. All right, I've got my lye all measured off here, and I'm just going to take a temperature here of the cold solution and show you what that's at. So it's at 49 degrees. Now I'm going to add my lye in here and just pour it right over the top of these little fluffs. Let me see if I can bend you down a little more so you can see in the pot better. There. And you don't have to go slow because this isn't a milk product. Aloe vera acts just like water with lye, so it's not a big deal. Stand back. You don't want to breathe the fumes. And it heats up very quickly, and within seconds that silk is melted. There, it's already melted. And it's cloudy right now because of the silk and the heat and everything, so I'm just going to stir this until I don't feel any lye granules in the bottom. I want it to be smooth. And I will go and throw this in an ice bath just because I'm impatient, but you can just set this off to the side for a couple hours and do something else and let it cool naturally. That's fine, but it's very warm. Let me show you. So we're at 200 degrees, so it went from 49 to 200 here in a matter of seconds, but that's what melts the silk in there. So anyway, that is how I add silk to my soaps. So let me go get this cooling off and get the rest of the oils prepped, and we'll get to making this shaving soap. Alright, it's time to add the additives in here, and it's this nice, my oils are this beautiful dark color because of that hemp seed oil in there, which is just so rich. I did go ahead and put the fragrance in here. It had good reviews, said it didn't cause acceleration, and I'm not doing any color swirl, so gonna live on the edge here. I threw it in there. It smells fantastic. So here is, I'm gonna do a nice heaping 2 tablespoons of colloidal oats, a little extra soothing in there. And here is my bentonite clay, which is that really nice sort of steely gray color. And this is a 1 tablespoon measure, so I'll do 1 and 2, kind of rounded. Nice and generous on the bentonite clay because it feels so good in the lather. Let me get this all blended in and absorbed in, and then we'll come back with the lye and get to pouring. I'm back, and I've got my lye solution all cooled here, and of course I showed you how I got the silk in there, and after it cooled down a little, I did put sodium lactate in here at a rate of about 1 teaspoon per pound of oils is how I like to do sodium lactate. So that's what else is going on in here. So I'm just going to stir this into light emulsion and turn the camera off, and I have to put it in another stand so that I can, this doesn't angle up to get it into the pour. So let me get this in here, and then I will pause you and bring you back when I've switched camera angles. I am so low tech, y'all. It's kind of ridiculous. But hey, we get the job done, right? So let's get this in here, and we're just going for a nice light trace. We'll get it down in that mold. it's the next day and I'll show you how I get this out. I actually had a funny thing happen with the lid situation. I didn't have enough extra and I didn't tighten it down well enough to keep it suspended, and it slid down to the bottom. So my bottom bars are going to be a little thicker than my top bars because I did not have the top screwed on very well. So anyway, part of having the poly tube lining work well is keeping it suspended at the top of your tube. But with all that being said, let me show you. Look at that. That's how easy it comes out of the mold. So let me get this all out of here and then I'll show you how to get the poly tube off. So here's the main circumference of it, and I don't know if you can tell on here, but at the bottom it gets a little bit thicker because it hit the bottom of my base, but that is okay. Let me grab my scissors and I'll show you how I get it out. So I just like to snip off the extra, and I have some little just bits here that came from there. I'll put that in my little extra bucket that I put all my shavings in. So I just like to snip the tube lining, and if you hit a sweet spot, it'll just rip, no problems. That's how I like to do it. Some people have suggested taking a little box cutter and nicking it down, and that would work too. It's just very simple. Once you hit a little sweet spot, it just tears right off. So today I'm going to cut my big shaving log with my bud cutter. This is a vintage piece of equipment. I got this so long ago on Etsy from Bud's Workshop. I believe he does still make single bar cutters. I think they're metal now. But so anyway, I found one similar to this on Amazon, and I'll leave a link for the one similar to this down in my Amazon store description box. But let me tell you, this came with this little piece of block, and when I first got this cutter, I wasn't sure what this is for. Well, after I made a long log of soap, I figured it out. It's actually a little footer. So I'm going to put this way on down here because I don't want to break this. It's heavy. I've got this long soap here to cut, and so that little block down there is going to hold up the end of it and suspend it so my log doesn't break. So if you have a single bar cutter and you have really long molds, these are very handy. So with all that being said, I'm using my single bar cutter so I can adjust the width because I want the bars to weigh approximately the same, and a few of these will be wider than others, so I want to do it by weight and not by size. So that is why I've got my single bar cutter out. So let me get the log up on here and start cutting. All right, so the first thing I did was I just cut off this end piece that was skinny at the top, and I'm just going to cut this in half and let it cure, and this will be a shower bar for me and my husband and a shaving bar. So anyway, that's how I got the nice even top up here. And let me also say that this smells really, really nice. This Indonesian teak wood smells fabulous. So there it is, the color, not a lot going on, smells fantastic, it's full of great ingredients. And I'm going to weigh this and see, almost there. And let's see if that's more like it. There's just something beautiful about a simple soap, isn't there? Yeah, we're getting there. So now it's just a matter of cutting all of these up, and then I'll show you how I clean them up. So I will show you how I clean up the rough edges on these round bars. So I do not have a very steady hand. You can use a vegetable peeler and go around, but I usually end up with, you know, not a smooth edge because I don't have a very steady hand. So what I do like to do is, this is a clean, and I know it's stained. These are my shop rags. I wash them and bleach them between every use, but this is a clean, damp rag. I just damped it and wrung it out as hard as I could so it's barely even wet. And okay, let me show you. So this has little kind of raggedy rough edges, and just the nubbiness of the terry cloth here will take down the roughness and just kind of smooth it out. And that way I don't have to worry about my hands not being steady. And it just makes a nice, very smooth, not sharp edge. So that is how I'm going to clean up these shaving soaps. All right, let's do a lather test on these shaving soaps. I have a little bit of an end piece here that's going to go to my husband and me. So I just have a cup. I love this. It's a vintage Old Spice cup. I got it on eBay. I love this thing. Anyway, you pop it in here, and this is one of the smaller ends. Here is a larger end soap that would fit a little more snug, but anyway, a 3-inch PVC pipe will make a nice size to fit into a cup. So here's what I'm going to do. This is my husband's shaving brush. I ran upstairs and grabbed it. So I'm going to run some really warm to hot water, run it over this, get it wet. My sink's behind me here, and dump it out, and then I'll come back and show you how we lather. All right, so I've wetted this down. Here's my wetted brush, and we're just going to go in here, and you can see almost immediately we're getting just a thick, dense lather, and you load the brush up like this. And ladies, let me tell you, this is a great leg shave, underarm shave, anywhere shave. But so it's not just for the guys, but look at that buildable lather. It is just luscious. So you just smoosh it on, and that bentonite clay makes just a slip. This is just, it's luxurious. So anyway, there it is in action. You gotta love these, right? Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Hope you give the PVC pipe a try. It makes a great soap mold, and have an awesome day.